Okay, class, we're going to talk about the vocabulary for Unit 1. So the first words are probability, since the unit is mainly about probability. Probability is the chance of an event happening, usually represented by a ratio. I wrote P, and then in parentheses it says event because that's the probability of an event happening, is equal to, and I use the number sign, of favorable outcomes over the number of possible outcomes. So an example is, what's the probability of having the coin land on heads? Well, there's only one head on a coin, and there are two possible outcomes. It could be heads or tails. Okay, outcome is basically the possible results of an action. So what will happen? Sample space. Sample space is a list or set of all the possible outcomes in a probability experiment. Tree diagram. A tree diagram is a display that represents the sample space. For example, if you had 2 shirts and 3 pairs of shorts, you might draw out or write out a list of all the possible combinations with those shirts and shorts. If you wrote them out, it would probably look like a tree diagram. Okay, we'll do examples of that later. Rational number. Now, this is the first one that has to do with converting. So rational numbers are any fraction, decimal, or percent that can be divided by any number other than 0. Okay, so we use a lot of rational numbers. Integer. Integer is a different type of number. It's any set of numbers, positive or negative. Okay. Fraction. A fraction represents parts of a whole and is written with a numerator on top and a denominator on bottom. The line that separates them actually means to divide. So if you were to set it up like a long division problem, the denominator would be on the outside and the numerator would be on the inside. Okay, because the numerator is your dividend and your denominator is your divisor. Convert. Convert just means to change the form. We will be changing the form that we write probability in. Most often it will come out as a ratio, right? So we will have a fraction, but it may look like a decimal or a percent. Okay, bar notation. When we have repeating decimals, a bar notation is placed over the numbers that repeat. Okay, if it does not repeat, the bar won't go over it. If none of the numbers in the decimal repeat, it's called a terminating decimal, meaning it has an end. Decimal with digits that end. It's either a terminating decimal or a bar notated repeating decimal. And the last term you're going to get familiar with is the term percent, which really means part per 100. So if we were writing percent using that symbol that you see off to the left, okay, as a fraction, it would look like something over 100. Okay, kind of like your grades. Usually on a paper or an assignment, they might say you got 9 out of 10. They'll write it as a fraction. But you know to convert it that your percent would be 90%. Okay. These are all the vocabulary you're going to need to know for Unit 1 so far. If you missed any or weren't able to write them down, go ahead and pause, rewind. You might want to pause and write them all down in your math notebook. And then if you need to hear me say it again or explain, you can always rewind and play as many times as you would like because this is a video recording. If you understood everything and just want to hear it one more time, but maybe in a little quicker speed, you can always go in and adjust that setting as well. Again, make sure that you're writing these vocabulary down in your notebook. Thank you.